Welcome to Freed on Business. He grew up in South Florida, has been in business here since the early 90s, and has closed over $3 billion in deals. He's seen it all. He always has an opinion, and he's always ready to share it. Informed, entertaining, and connected, he has his finger on the pulse of South Florida's business community. He's Jim Freed, and this is Freed on Business.
All right, welcome to another edition of Freed on Business. This is episode 855, and we've got Jeff Meshel, the CEO of Candor Capital Partners. Jeff and I have known each other for a long time. We recently reconnected in synagogue. It was kind of nice, actually. And we're going to continue on the theme that we started last week, which is going to be about networking. Jeff's got a book coming out. The book is Know Who You Know. Kind of obvious what we're going to talk about, but make sure you stick with us. I can tell you this. I want to thank our friends at Warren Henry Automotive. Our friends at Warren Henry Automotive, I know them. They know me. We've been working together for 15 years. They've allowed me to be their brand ambassador, so I know them, and I know that they know a lot of my friends and my family and my clients and customers. So we're going to talk about that later on in the show. I want to remind everybody we're streaming on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Instagram. Look for us at Freed on Business or at Jim Freed. It's a great place to get to know me and the folks that are on today's show. Today, we're going to be talking with Jeff Meshel. We're going to talk about some of his personal branding and networking tips. And here we go. On with commercial lender and real estate aficionado and place and person introducer, Jeff Meshel. Jeff, welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Now, I touted your book, Know Who You Know. You and I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. And let's talk about, knowing who you know, why that's important. And I know you had a couple of great stories you were sharing with me. I'd love it if you could share those with our audience as well. But first, tell a little bit about yourself.
Well, there are a lot of things I could share about it since we're discussing this. They call me the master networker. I just finished my most recent book, which I'm out to the publishers. The title is Know Who You Know, but it's my fourth book. My first book is One Phone Call Away: Secrets of a Master Networker. And for me, I collect people. And it kind of sounds silly, but it's literal. Every time I meet somebody, I take the time of recording them in my database, how I met them, where I met them, the date I met them, what they do, insights. Sometimes I'll go look at LinkedIn to see who they know that I know, and I might reach back to them to create additional conversation. Having done this for a little while, I have 15,000 people in my personal database, and I have endless stories about things that have occurred because I know so many people and I create connectivity all the time.
That's tremendous. We first got connected, about a decade ago. Was it that long ago?
Yeah, I think it was 2011 when I met you, and I looked at my phone and I said, gee, I met you September 3rd, 2011. We're at such and such place, and you know this person. And you looked at me and go, wow. It's kind of cool how people react to that.
Yeah, it was very nice. Then I looked you up on LinkedIn. We actually reconnected at synagogue. So I would like to think that it is exactly the divine intervention there. We've already got somebody that we're looking to make a shidduch for to create a connection, God willing, to create a whole family. But really, I just got back. I was at a conference. I was there for about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, met the one person I wanted to meet. While I was waiting to meet with him, I saw about 10 or 15 different people that I knew that were at the conference. And it reminded me how important it is just to be, I call it, open for business. You have to be there. You have to be friendly. Somebody came up and said, "Are you so-and-so?" I said, "No, but really nice to meet you." We exchanged cards. It's just really about the rhythm and the pace and the process of networking. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts on that. Networking. You're the master networker. I was there. I have my cards. I wrote on the back of all the cards.
I think it's very important to recognize that being a giver is a very meaningful, important thing. And if you want to be someone that's a networker, I don't even like the word networker. I actually, when I speak, sometimes I challenge the audience to give me another word. I came up with my own word, which is a combination of two words: help others. if we all are mindful about people around us, you and I are having breakfast with this person, this very nice lady, interested in meeting people. I'm coming because you asked me to come and I want to meet her. If I could be helpful to her and make an introduction that's meaningful to her life, I made a difference. If we all start thinking about making a difference and going out of our way, and it's not just about me, incredible things happen. I have endless stories that back that up. And it's also extremely gratifying and feels great when good stuff happens because you go out of your way. No less all the business opportunity that ensues.
The thing that I found most interesting is here's me, here's you, and here's where business happens. Right there in that little middle. Is that a Venn diagram? Miami? Yeah, that's a Venn diagram. I had to check with my Miami Podcast Studios is a genius. Then there's me here in front of the camera. So I've always found that it's that overlap. And I'll go back to what I just did this morning. I went to a big conference. There were 1,000 people. They all looked the same. They all had their blue blazer, their Dockers, their open collar shirt, their fancy watch, and their name tags, and they were all looking to sell the exact same thing to each other. And I've found that the thing that can differentiate you with something like that is to be a giver. I really want to know who I can help them meet. And I actually sat down with this lender, an investor, one of the big investment banking firms. I said, do you know so-and-so? He goes, they call on me, but the person that calls on me is a junior person in their organization. They're never going to get anything done with me. He goes, can you introduce me to the principals? That's it. And you go, where do you know the principals, Jim? I said, no, the principals for 35 years. So it's just creating this warm call and helping two people to get together. They know each other, but to get together in a way that's different. I mean, Jeff, what do you think about that?
Well, I started off by saying being a giver is an incredibly important thing. I mean, clearly we all meet people that are the other side of the spectrum, takers. And those people, when you speak to them, you look in the eyes and they don't even hear what you're saying because they're so absorbed in themselves that they don't have a real interest in what you're saying. It's all about them. And candidly, those type of people, for the most part, are a waste of time because you're not proselytizing, you're not convincing them. But that said, there's so many people out there, and you talked about going to a convention or a show that everybody's the same. It has a value. It's, hit or miss. Maybe you meet one person. I historically, when I go to those shows, maybe meet one person. One person. It's the things you do outside the box that really create more opportunity. And, putting people together. I do this thing called Dinner for Eight.
Yes.
And I've been doing them on a 100-foot yacht here in the marina. And everyone comes to the dinner and everyone chips in. I have someone that provides dinner and food. And everyone I have come is someone that's different. Very achieved people with different apertures in the business world. And I call on them to speak. Not here. Here's the mic. I make them stand out by their attributes. It goes on for 3 hours. Everyone meets these incredible people. All sorts of stuff happens. New relationships ensue. And candidly, I've gotten people that, because I do these things, that introduce me to somebody that's relevant for me to meet, whether it be a potential partner of mine to do something with, or a source of an opportunity that I wouldn't have gotten if I didn't create it. It's more about what we do to make things happen versus sitting on our you-know-what and doing nothing. And going to different things and doing different events and places creates a lot more opportunity.
People crave safety, and they really open up about themselves when they feel safe. And I think that a lot of people I know, a lot of me, when you're in a big environment with a lot of people, sometimes it's difficult to feel safe and comfortable because you're being bombarded with so many things that are not on point. So I think that your idea about Dinner for Eight is very good. I hesitate to use many terms, but one I really don't necessarily like is curate. But it sounds like what you do is you filter the people so that they've got something in common. I got to believe that you add a little bit of a activating ingredient, a little catalyst, and then it kind of would take off from its own if you've gotten to know the different people and help them to open up and feel comfortable.
Well, their commonality is really that they're not common at all. Their commonality is actually that they're very achieved at whatever they do. I went, and I mentioned Harvey Birdman to you last time we spoke. Harvey had me go listen to a woman that was speaking in the Wynwood area. She was being interviewed, and he called me up on a Saturday, said, listen, Sunday, can you go? I want you to go hear this person speak. I said, she's being interviewed. I said, okay, Harvey, what is she being interviewed on? Don't worry, just go. Just show, I just want you to go. Good friend, he asked me to go. I go. I go listen to this woman go speaking. She's being interviewed for Netflix. Why? She's considered an authority or one of the top people in the country that knows about hacking. She worked for the government. She knows more about hacking than anyone I've ever met, no less. I learned so much in her interview that I was kept raising my hand, asking questions. Her knowledge, what she knows, she shared that her skill is so over the top that if you have a pacemaker, she knows how to hack your pacemaker and kill you. I mean, I was like blown away. I ran up to her, took her out to lunch thereafter. I brought her down to my organization, the Strategic Forum, to speak, and I brought her to my dinner of 8. Now, she's not an owner of a company. She's not a CEO. But what she shared was like mind-blowing. And when I do these dinner of 8s, I get everyone's bios beforehand. I send them to everybody before they come, and I mandate they must read the bios before they attend. When I called on her first, and I looked at her and I said, Christine, everyone's read Christine's bio. Truly a unique person that has knowledge about stuff that we all know about. I was on the board of Signature Bank for 15 years. Hacking, I mean, banks, that's a real concern. Today, I don't worry about it so much. I got to look at my credit card bill, make sure I have legitimate charges. Every one of us have companies here. Every one of us know about hacking. Christine, you read the bios. Could you be kind enough to share, knowing the company, what should we be mindful of? What should we be looking at? What don't we know? And are you concerned about the potential threats of AI making it worse? And then I give her the mic. The point of the story was when she spoke, she didn't get up and say, well, I grew up in the Bronx. I got 3 dogs named Trixie. No one cares about that. I made her stand out based upon her skill sets. And everybody at the table, I did the exact same thing. I guided them to make themselves powerful and strong. So the event becomes like, oh my God, this is incredible. And so much good stuff comes from it. And they're in my database.
So, Jeff, you talk to a lot of different people that do a lot of different things. A lot of our audience is real estate related. What do you find to be the missing piece in today's real estate marketplace? What's I was just at this event. It seemed like everybody had the same thing. They had everything you needed. I'll get it, whatever. What do you find to be the missing piece in today's real estate market, Jeffrey?
Look, we are all salespeople, no matter what level we're at. Everybody's a salesman. The problem is when you go to those events, 98% of the people there are salespeople that are just selling the same products that everybody's marketing. And they don't stand out in terms of being unique or doing different things. I'm not saying that's 100%. You'll hit that one person or 2 people that it was worthwhile showing up. It's the people that are outside your box, the people that are achieved, that do things that are different from you, that can really create very interesting opportunities. I've got endless stories about stuff that have happened to me coming from the least likely place. 1, because I show up, and 2, they're just accomplished people with different venues or different insights into the business world, but they're achieved. And those are the people that I want to be in front of. And I constantly put people together. I constantly want to help people. And I don't want anything. I don't ask what's in it for me. I always ask how I can help you. And that's another very important thing. If you go out of your way to help people, don't ask for anything. People remember. Things just happen. And sometimes really material things happen at the least likely place that you wouldn't expect, because you live your life that way and you make a difference, no less you learn a lot.
So you were talking about your, have to make air quotes, dinner for 8. I was recently at a similar type of circumstance. Didn't really say much, listened to everybody broadcast about themselves. Then I left. I got a call the next day from the gentleman that put the event together. He asked me to help him on a transaction. He said that the transaction he was working on recently required a little bit more equity than he had. And he said, would the family office I was working with be interested in investing in the deal? I said, no, but I said, I have good news for you. He goes, what? I go, you already know who's going to do it. He goes, what do you mean? I go, call all the other people that are already investing. Tell them that you have an opportunity for them to put a little bit more in. They're already sold. They all believe in your deal. And then I hung up the phone. I said, you've got this. And I hung up the phone. Didn't see the guy for a year. Ran into him at another event. And now he and I are doing I'll have to say we have like a 15-point agenda of different things, from retail to trucking to condo to apartment and everything in between. And it all happened because rather than thrusting my solution, I gave him the power to solve it himself?
Well, you made a difference, and what you did, what you shared your intellect, knowledge, and guidance that he didn't see what you told him, and because you did that, the difference you made you stand out in his mind as somebody that he wants to embrace. That's the point. If we make a difference, great things can occur.
I want you to, we're going to stop right there. We're going to talk a little bit about Warren Henry Automotive, who makes a difference for me and my friends all the time. And then we're going to come back, Jeff, and we're going to have the bottom line. So please stick with me. Let's talk about the bottom line. And I'd like it to evolve around your upcoming book, Know Who You Know. We'll be right back. Jeff, you can stick with us, right? Yeah. Okay, here we go. Miami Podcast Studios, shine. All right, everybody. We're talking about who do you know, or know who you know. I know who I know at Warren Henry. I know Larry, Eric, Ismet, Warren. They're great people, and they're indicative of the entire organization of Warren Henry Automotive. By now, everybody who watches this podcast knows how I feel about my friends at Warren Henry. I want to thank them for allowing me to be their brand ambassador for 15 plus years. They've got their headquarters store up 151st and Biscayne, where they sell Land Rover, Range Rover, Jaguar, Lincoln. I got my Lincoln there. My mom got her Lincoln there. I love my Lincoln. When I show off my Lincoln and my friends, they're amazed because it's got like one of those great dashboards. It's kind of like a curved, multi-screened video screen. It's amazing. It's amazing. And, if you're looking for a Audi, they've got a tremendous Audi store up in Gainesville. Down in the Keys, they've got a store that sells all the great nameplates. They've got their award-winning Land Rover, Range Rover store here in South Dade and also in West Broward. And all these stores have something in common. They come with the Warren Henry Advantage. It's a long list of different things that you get. But for me, the Warren Henry Advantage is being part of the Warren Henry family, knowing that if I have a problem, they pick up the phone, they respond immediately, they're concerned, and they solve the problem. They solve the problem. And one of the problems they're solving in our community right now is they've got a great training program for young people that are still in high school. Those people can come out and start earning a good living with benefits right away without having the burden of having all of the debt that you get from going to college. So in a variety of different ways, my friends at Warren Henry that I'm proud to affiliate help me with my personal brand, and they help a lot of different people achieve their goals and objectives with their cars and with their careers. So I want to remind everybody, always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
I want to remind everybody, I'm the founder of Sandstone Realty Advisors. Last year, per the South Florida Business Journal, we did the 33rd largest transaction volume of any firm in town. So reach out to me. We work with a lot of family offices, a lot of high net worth investors. And I had lunch with one of the largest banks in the world today before I came on and did the podcast. So if you have an issue, we're able to help you solve that problem. Call me, email me, text me. And remember, whenever you call me and reach out to me, it's always all about you. And a person that personifies that is today's guest, Jeff Meshel. Jeff is the CEO of Candor Capital. He's a master networker. I always like to aspire up. And Jeff, I've always considered myself a master networker. So having you on the show and reinforcing some of the things I do and adding new ideas really is helping me and the rest of our viewers. Now, you've got your new book coming out, Know Who You Know. Tell me how you came up with that title and what do you mean when you say that?
Well, it's fairly obvious when you say know who you know. I mean, at least at the very simple level. The book goes much wider and goes to a lot of other things that expand upon it significantly, relevant to our conversation here in terms of trying to share something very meaningful. There's a chapter in the book called Perception of Self. So Jim, if I asked you, what is perception of self? What would your answer be?
Well, there's actually two. There's the way I perceive myself and then the way that others perceive myself. And you want that to be complementary and consistent. It isn't always that way. And I'm extraordinarily self-critical, probably to a fault. How did I do?
You hit it on the head as to the definition. You're more of the anomaly than the norm. Most people, when you ask them what's perception of self, they'll just give the half of the definition. It's how I see myself. It's what I think of myself. And that's true. But your answer is the complete answer. And that's really the one that this chapter is about. Most people don't think about the perception of self, about how other people perceive them. And if we're in business and we're doing things to make money and stand out, what you say and the way you say it either makes you stand out strongly or negatively or not at all. I'll share a quick story, and I don't mean to demean any particular industry or business, but I went to a cocktail party, and I shared the story actually in my second book called The Opportunity Magnet, where I'm walking around. I always go up to people and speak to people. That's another very important thing. Don't be shy. Always say hi. You never know where things come from. And I'm sitting there talking to this gentleman and having a cocktail with him, and he looks at me, and I look at him, and I said, Jim, so Jim, what do you do? And he looks at me and he says, I'm an accountant. I said, oh, okay, that's nice. I chatted with him a little longer, and Jim, really nice, pleasure to meet you. I hope you have a very nice evening. I have nothing against accounts. I don't have anything negative about accounts, but I also know about 8,000 accountants. I don't know, the point of the story is, if I was an accountant and I just met somebody that, I'm talking to that, we're having a conversation about what I do, I would say something like, I specialize in tax disasters. That provokes conversation. That is like, really, like what? What's happening? It stimulates conversation to create possibilities. If you come across generic or you don't have anything that makes yourself stand out, you're not going to stand out. And that talks to the other side of this, what we're talking about here. You go Google me, you'll see the 8 bazillion things I do. I've written 4 books. I've been involved in very significant charities with law enforcement, a foundation that scours social media for threats to protect people. I'm involved in real estate. I'm on the board of Signature Bank. I'm on the board of all these companies involved in venture. I have a lot of things that I do. That makes me stand out. That draws people to me. So all of us have an obligation, responsibility to ourselves to become magnets. Hence the title of my first book, The Opportunity Magnet. The more we do, that creates breadth and creates interest in you, because there's things that are, I'm going to count, one color, you're not going to draw people to you. If you draw people to you, you create more possibilities and you create more results.
I solve problems for people in real estate. Each problem is different. Each solution is different. But people always want to talk about the podcast, and it's a real differentiator and a real bridge builder that's worked for me. Wouldn't work for everybody. You write books, you go to all these events. I think I have a title for your next book. It's Always Say Hello.
Good
so
title.
we could co-write that one. And
your case in point is right. You make yourself stand out because you do the podcast, even more so.
And I do it in a way that I want to make it non-invasive and not overbearingly strong, because I'm a strong person. So I work hard at, you see, this is something I'm giving, Jeff. I'm giving this. We're creating content together. We're building an experience together. It's something we can talk about. When we go to an event together, we can stand next to each other. We can talk. Jeff's on my show. I've had Jeff on my show. He's a great lender. He's very connected. He knows everything. He's helping so-and-so, meet, God willing, creating a family. I met him, a number of years ago, but we reconnected at synagogue. Look at all the different markers that we have that indicate who we are.
And those are clearly very important. But if you really look at the rest of the world, it's interesting that we go to university, whatever school it might be, and we take all these courses and classes. There's no class on networking. They don't teach this. They might have something called marketing. That's not networking. knowing people and going out there and doing things where you're helping people and are one phone call away, title of my first book, from a resource becomes incredibly valuable. It's not about me. It's about how can I help you? And to your point, you make yourself stand out. You're helping people two ways with this. One is you're getting smart people to talk about whatever they might be doing and their knowledge. You're sharing that. You're the curator of knowledge. You're the curator of stimulation. There are very few, if any, people in your industry that are doing what you're doing. And it's special because it's just another element of you standing out.
Thanks. I really can't thank you enough. Jeff, we're gonna wrap up here. Is there one thought that you'd like to leave everybody with?
Yes. Don't ask what's in it for me. Ask, how can I help you?
Oh my gosh. Oh, Jeff, tremendous. That's like my little tagline. It's always all about you. I want to thank Jeff Meshel. Jeff and I will be appearing at an event near you. Come see us so we can help you meet the people that we're talking to. Jeff, I want to thank you so much. Please remember to stay with us in the green room if you don't mind. I want to remind everybody that today's show, you can find, if you missed today's show, you can find it on any one of our podcasts. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. Wherever you get your podcasts, you'll find us. I want to remind everybody that we'll be on and drop a new podcast every Wednesday at noon. And Jeff is the perfect example of this, Mr. Miami Podcast Studios. The person that wants to do something finds a way. The other finds an excuse. Now go out there and make it happen. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Miami Podcast Studios, do your magic.